Hey everyone, ready to move better.
I know I am.
Today we're deep diving into mobility exercises,
That's right.
especially for all you runners out there.
Yeah, runners are going to love this one.
We've got some great articles to help us.
Oh, yeah.
From Eat This, Not That,
Oh,
The Manual,
nice.
and Jacked Gorilla.
So it sounds like a good mix.
We're going to figure out the best techniques
Absolutely.
to get you moving with more grace and power on your runs.
That's the goal.
Whether you're dealing with stiffness or want to prevent injuries,
Important.
or maybe you just want to feel more agile every day.
Yeah, who doesn't want that?
I know I do.
Me too.
So let's start by talking about what mobility actually is.
Okay, good place to start.
The Mobility for Runners article.
From Jacked Gorilla.
Yeah, that one makes a distinction
Between what?
between flexibility, which is muscle lengthening,
Okay.
and mobility, which is all about how well your joints move.
That's a good distinction.
It's like the difference between being able to touch your toes. Okay.
And being able to squat down low with good form
Right.
and good mobility is so important
It really is.
for everything.
Oh, yeah.
From athletic performance
Sure.
to just preventing those aches and pains as we get older.
Ugh. Tell me about it.
And for runners especially,
Definitely.
Mobility for Runners articles says it can make a huge difference
In what way?
in your running form,
Right.
your stride length,
Okay.
even your speed.
Wow.
And it can help you avoid injuries.
Which is key.
Exactly.
So where do we start?
Well, let's start with the foundation.
Okay.
Those ankles.
Yeah, those are important.
Mobility for Runners stresses how crucial ankle mobility is.
Makes sense.
I mean, every time you take a step,
Yeah,
you're putting stress on those ankles.
you are.
And if they're stiff, it can mess with your whole gait.
And lead to...
Overpronation,
Oh, yeah.
supination,
Yeah.
all sorts of problems.
And pain.
You might not even realize it.
Mm.
But restricted ankle movement can lead to knee pain,
Oh, wow.
hip pain,
Really?
even back pain.
It's all connected.
It is.
So what can we do about it?
Well, Mobility for Runners has some great ankle mobility drills.
Like what?
They have you stepping forward,
Okay.
driving your knee over your toes,
Mm.
really working that range of motion.
Sounds good.
And the manual suggests something called
What's it called?
three-way ankle joint mobilizations.
Oh, wow. That sounds intense.
It does.
That's good.
Yeah, they both sound really effective.
So we've got options.
We do.
Which one should we try?
I think they both have their merits.
True.
But what I like about the manual's approach
Yeah.
is that it uses just your body weight and a mat
Okay.
to target different angles of movement.
So it's more about finding those little adjustments that
Little
make a big
bit.
difference.
Right.
I like that.
Okay, so we've talked about ankles.
Check.
Now let's move up to the hips.
Ooh, yes, the hips.
Eat This, Not That recommends standing hip circles.
Those are good.
They seem pretty simple,
They are.
but don't let that fool you.
Oh,
They're super effective for loosening up those hip flexors
okay.
and your glutes.
Important for runners.
Absolutely.
Why is that?
Well, having mobile hips is like having a powerful engine.
Interesting analogy.
It allows for a longer stride,
Okay.
better power transfer,
I see.
and it reduces the risk of hamstring and groin strains.
Ouch. Yeah, those are no fun.
Oh, they're not.
So hip circles are key.
They are.
And the manual even suggests adding a resistance band.
Oh, yeah, I've tried that. It's
Uh-huh.
definitely more challenging,
I bet.
but it really targets those deep hip muscles.
Which is what we want.
Exactly.
And here's something interesting.
What's that?
Both articles mention how sitting for long periods.
Like at a desk job
Yeah.
can really mess with your hip mobility.
Makes sense.
So even if you're not a runner,
Right.
these exercises are important
For everyone.
for counteracting the effects of modern life.
The curse of the chair. But hey, at least we can do something about it
We can.
with hip circles.
Exactly.
So we've covered ankles and hips.
We have.
What about the lower back?
Yes, the lower back.
Always a trouble spot.
It is for a lot of people.
What do the articles say about that?
Well, Jacked Gorilla recommends back bridges.
Okay, I like those.
They look pretty gentle,
They are.
but they're surprisingly effective.
Oh, yeah?
Back bridges aren't just about mobilizing the lower back,
They also help strengthen your core.
which is so important.
Why is that?
Well, your core is like your internal scaffolding.
I like that.
It supports your entire body.
So a strong core equals...
Less lower back pain.
Got it.
And the manual takes it a step further.
How so?
They recommend hamstring and hip openers with a resistance band.
Ooh, those sound good.
I bet they'd be amazing for anyone who sits hunched over all day.
Like most of us.
Yeah.
And that's a perfect example of how everything is connected.
What do you mean?
Well, tight hamstrings
Yeah.
can actually pull on your pelvis,
It's interesting.
leading to lower back pain.
So by stretching your hamstrings,
You're often addressing lower back issues too,
it's all about finding those links.
and understanding how everything works together.
So we've covered ankles, hips, lower back.
What's next?
How about the upper body?
Oh, yeah. Good one.
Gotta take care of those shoulders.
Especially if you spend a lot of time at the keyboard.
Like me.
Me too.
What do the articles say about upper body mobility?
Well, eat this, not that.
Yeah.
Keeps it classic.
With.
Seated shoulder
I
rolls.
love those.
They're easy to do.
and effective.
You can even do them at your desk.
Right.
But the manual has something a little different.
What is it?
It's called the hitchhiker exercise.
The hitchhiker.
Yeah, it sounds more like a dance move.
Then a stretch.
Right.
I have to look that one up.
You should.
But it's supposed to be good for...
Relieving tension in your upper back
Okay.
and even easing headaches.
Really?
Yeah, sometimes the most unexpected movements.
Have the best results.
Exactly.
Oh, and Jacked Gorilla recommends passive and active hangs with rotation.
I've seen people doing those at the gym.
They look tough,
They can be
but they're great for getting those shoulder blades moving.
through their full range of motion.
Yeah, what's the difference between passive and active hangs?
That's a good question.
I'm curious.
Well, in a passive hang,
Okay.
you're basically just letting gravity do the work.
So just hang in there.
Yeah, relaxing.
Okay.
But in an active hang,
Yeah.
you're engaging your muscles.
Oh, I see.
Pulling your shoulder blades down and back.
So you're taking control
Exactly.
instead of letting gravity dictate it.
Right.
That's interesting.
It is.
It's like you're choosing to move.
Instead of just letting things happen.
I wonder if we could apply that idea to other areas of mobility,
What do you mean?
like beyond the physical, maybe even to life in general.
Whoa, now you're getting deep.
I am, aren't I?
That's a good thought, though. It's like, are we passively letting circumstances dictate our range of motion?
Or are we actively choosing to expand our possibilities?
Mind blown.
I know, right?
And it ties back to these exercises.
In a way I hadn't considered before.
They're not just giving us physical tools.
They're also inviting us to think differently about movement.
And potential.
About possibilities.
I like that.
Me too.
Makes me excited to dive into some of these exercises.
Oh, too.
And see what we discover.
There are so many more we haven't even touched on yet.
We'll get to them.
But that's it for now.
Okay.
Stay tuned for more from The Deep Dive.
Sounds good.
We're back.
Still thinking about all those mobility exercises?
Me too. It's fascinating how
What?
each of these articles has its own approach.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, eat this, not that, is all about,
Accessibility.
yeah, making it easy for anyone to do.
Right.
While Jacked Gorilla seems more geared towards,
People who are serious about strength training,
yeah, like athletes or people
who hit the gym regularly.
Exactly.
And the manual kind of...
strikes a balance.
Yeah, I'd say so.
But what I think is really cool
What's that?
is how they all emphasize
The what?
the interconnectedness of the body.
Oh, yeah. That's a big theme.
Like, who knew that a shoulder exercise
Could impact your hip mobility.
right?
It's amazing how it's all linked.
It is.
Speaking of links,
Okay.
let's talk about a few more exercises.
That sounds good.
That really stood out to me.
Okay.
Jacked Gorilla has this one called the goblet squat stretch.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that one.
It seems like a really efficient way to
To what?
multitask.
I love the...
2-for-1 exercises.
Yeah, you get more bang for your buck.
Exactly.
So what makes the goblet squat so special?
Well, by holding a weight close to your chest
Okay.
and squatting deep,
Yeah.
you're not only working your quads, glutes, and hamstrings,
Oh, wow, the whole lower body.
but you're also forcing those hip flexors to lengthen,
Ah, so it's like...
hitting the reset button on those tight hips.
So I'm sitting all day. Exactly.
Right.
And mobility for runners even suggest
Or they suggest.
pushing your knees outward during the squat
Oh,
to
interesting.
really engage those hip muscles.
And deepen the stretch.
Oh.
Those little tweaks.
That can make a big difference.
I'm telling you.
They really can.
Oh, and speaking of tweaks,
Yeah.
Jacked Gorilla had this other exercise.
What was it called?
The standing roll down.
I don't know that one.
It sounds really interesting.
Tell me more.
They describe it as
As what?
imagining a slow, soothing wave rolling down your spine.
Whoa, that sounds meditative.
Yes, I can see it.
It's like you're not just stretching
You're also connecting with your body.
and finding those releases.
That feel amazing.
Exactly.
I'm all about that.
Me too. But
That was.
all these exercises are great.
They are.
But when should we be doing them?
Good question.
Is it a warm-up thing?
Oh,
A cool down thing?
Or both.
Well, Mobility for Runners recommends.
Yes. Incorporating some dynamic mobility drills before your runs.
Okay, like what kind of drills?
Things like ankle circles,
Okay,
hip swings,
right.
and their runner's stretch.
I've seen that one.
It's a good one.
So that helps to
Ditto.
prime your joints for action
Okay.
and reduce the risk of injury,
Makes sense.
get everything warmed up and ready to go.
Exactly.
But what about after the run?
Afterward, you could focus on
On what?
more static stretches,
Oh, okay.
holding those positions for longer.
To improve flexibility.
Right. The manual has some good suggestions for that,
Cool.
but they really stress the importance of
Of what?
listening to your body
Yeah,
and avoiding any pain during the stretches.
that's so important.
It is.
It's not about pushing yourself too hard.
Right.
It's about finding that sweet spot.
Where you feel a gentle pull,
Yeah,
a sense of opening.
I like that.
And, the manual actually suggests
Yeah.
that these exercises can be done daily
Oh, wow.
for optimal results.
So no excuses.
Well, you always have a choice,
Sure.
but consistency is key.
When it comes to mobility,
Exactly. Even a few minutes each day
can make a difference.
over time.
I hear you.
Good.
And speaking of consistency,
Yeah.
I keep thinking back to that concept
Of what?
of active versus passive mobility.
Yeah, that was interesting.
It's like taking control of your movement destiny,
I like that.
not just letting external forces dictate how freely you can move.
Powerful stuff.
It is.
And it's not just about physical movement either.
What do you mean?
It's like in life, too.
Oh, I see.
Are you passively going with the flow?
Or you actively seeking out ways to expand your horizon.
Deep.
I know, right?
It connects back to these exercises, though.
In a way.
It's not just about blindly following a routine.
Right.
It's about understanding the why behind each movement.
Engaging your mind as well as your body.
Yeah,
It's like
sure.
we're not just unlocking physical mobility,
We're unlocking a whole new way of thinking about movement,
about potential.
about possibilities.
That's beautifully said.
Thanks.
And there's one more exercise
Oh, yeah.
that I think really embodies this idea of active mobility.
Which one is that?
The Jefferson curl.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Jack Gorilla describes it as both strengthening and mobilizing the posterior chain.
Is a great exercise for that.
And I think it deserves a deep dive of its own.
I agree.
But before we move on,
What is it?
can we talk a little bit more about the posterior chain?
Sure.
What is it exactly?
And
And
why is it so important for runners?
yeah, I'm curious about that.
Well, the posterior chain
Hmm.
refers to all the muscles along the back of your body,
Okay.
from your calves all the way up to your upper back.
So hamstrings,
Yes.
glutes,
Mm-hmm.
lower back muscles.
All of those.
And they all play a role in running.
A crucial role.
Okay, so why is the posterior chain so important for runners specifically?
Well, think about it.
Okay.
When you're running,
Yeah.
you're propelling yourself forward with every stride.
Right.
And those posterior chain muscles
Yeah,
are the powerhouses driving that movement.
I see.
They help you generate power,
Okay.
maintain proper posture,
Uh-huh.
and protect your spine from the impact of each foot strike.
So if those muscles are weak or tight,
It's going to affect your running,
in what way?
your efficiency, even your speed.
Wow. So it's really important to keep those muscles strong and flexible.
It is.
And exercises like the Jefferson curl
It can help with that.
by targeting the posterior chain.
Exactly.
And what's cool about the Jefferson curl
Is that it combines strength training with mobility work.
so it's the best of both worlds.
You got it.
It's not just about building bigger muscles,
It's also about creating length and flexibility within those muscles.
so they can function optimally.
Right.
This is all making so much sense now.
Good. I'm glad.
I'm definitely going to prioritize my posterior chain from now on.
You should.
It seems like a game changer.
You can't.
Okay, so tell me more about this Jefferson curl
We'll definitely break it down for you.
and show you how to incorporate it into your routine.
After a quick.
Hold on, before we go.
Yeah.
I'm really curious about this Jefferson curl.
Okay.
So let's talk about it now.
All right. Sounds good.
Okay, so let's break down this Jefferson curl.
All right. Are you ready for this?
I think so. I'm intrigued.
It's a good one. It really addresses those posterior chain muscles.
In a unique way.
Yeah. Most traditional exercises don't quite hit it like this.
So walk me through it. How do you actually do a Jefferson curl?
Well, Jack Gorilla has a good breakdown with pictures,
I'll have to check that out.
but basically you start standing on a slightly elevated surface,
Okay,
like a step or a couple of weight plates,
got it.
holding a weight in your hands.
What kind of weight?
Could be a barbell, dumbbell, or kettlebell.
Okay.
Then, keeping your legs straight, you slowly curl your spine down towards the floor.
So like a forward fold.
Kind of. But the key is to go slowly, rounding your back one vertebra at a time.
Letting the weight guide you?
Exactly.
Honestly, it sounds a little intimidating.
I know, it looks a little strange.
But is it safe?
With proper form, yes, absolutely.
Oh, okay, good to know.
It's not about forcing anything or jerking the weight.
Right, it's about control.
Exactly. You want to feel each segment of your spine articulate as you move.
So it's like you're mobilizing your spine while also strengthening those muscles.
That's the beauty of it. It's a 2-for-1 deal.
I like that. And Jack Gorilla even called it a protective exercise for the back.
Oh, yeah.
How so?
Well, think about it. By strengthening those muscles that support your spine,
Yeah.
you're essentially building a more resilient back.
So it's less susceptible to injury.
Exactly. It's like reinforcing the foundation of your house.
That makes sense. So where would you fit the Jefferson curl into a workout routine?
Jack Gorilla suggests doing it towards the end of a strength training session.
Oh, so after you've already worked those muscles?
Right. It's a good way to transition into a cool down.
Because it involves both strengthening and stretching.
Exactly.
I see. But I imagine it's important to start with a lightweight
Oh, definitely.
and really focus on the form,
Absolutely. You want to make sure you're moving correctly before increasing the weight.
especially when it comes to your spine.
You don't want to mess around with that.
Yeah. So as we wrap up this deep dive into mobility,
Yeah.
what are some key takeaways for our listeners?
Well, I think the biggest takeaway is that mobility isn't just some extra thing you do.
It's not just for athletes,
Right. It's fundamental to overall health and well-being.
for everyone.
Exactly. And it can help prevent those aches and pains that can creep up as we age.
Nobody wants that.
It's about moving freely and effortlessly,
Yeah.
not just being flexible.
And we've learned there are so many exercises we can do to achieve that.
From simple ankle circles to more challenging moves like the Jefferson curl,
It's about finding what works for you.
for your body and your goals.
And remember, consistency is key.
Even a few minutes each day can make a big difference over time.
It's like brushing your teeth for your joints.
I love that analogy.
So keep moving, keep exploring.
And keep unlocking your body's full potential.
That's it for this deep dive into mobility exercises.
Thanks for joining us.
We hope you enjoyed it and learned some valuable insights.
We'll see you next time.
Now go forth and move with freedom.